Airports these days are not a fun venture for most people. Being crammed into small spaces and sat next to screaming babies is not a fun way to start a vacation. This makes flying from one glamorous destination to another seem like a fantasy to most people. This fantasy is becoming reality for more and more celebrities. The reality of this fantasy is less than ideal when you consider the irreparable damage that is being done to the environment. In this speech, I will explain to you the impact private jets have on the environment, the moral obligation that those who fly private should have, and what the government can do to step in to reduce the damage being done. Private jets are the most pollutant way to travel. 2 tons of CO2 are produced every hour that a private jet is in the air. This amount of carbon emissions is worth a few months for the average European citizen. Transport and Environment, Europe's leading clean transport campaign group, found that 10% of flights last year that left France were private, and over half of those were trips taken under 500 kilometers, which is 300 miles. Europe, unlike the US, has many options for transport, so this proves that the flights being taken are excessive and unnecessary. In 2020, the IPS, Institute for Policy Studies, reported that 0.0008% of the population owned a private jet. This is a mind-blowing statistic when you consider that the US private flights pumped out as much carbon as all of bus travel in 2020. The US transportation sector for greenhouse gas emissions also reported that private flights pumped out more carbon than all of the US military's aircrafts. Those who can afford to fly private should consider the moral obligation they have as members of society. They should not partake in private flights just for the social status that it gives them. Stephen Prince, a 90s businessman who made his fortune off of gift cards, argues that private flights are too expensive and too unfair. Not for him, but for everyone else. He maintains that he cannot continue to do it. In a New York Times article, he says that is the most selfish and most greedy thing he has ever done in his life. While celebrities jet across the world or across town in Kylie Jenner's case, the lower classes stuck sorting through their recycling and trying to take shorter showers to reduce their impact. They're also fleeing their homes from natural disasters. The question is, how do these celebrities sleep with themselves at night knowing the damage that they're doing? Public shame on Twitter by flight tracker pages does not work on celebrities, but the government interference could. Forbes reports that France made a big leap on reducing short-haul travel. Starting May 2023, citizens cannot take a plane ride if it can be taken by a train in under 2.5 hours. This does not include the flights of private jets, which is something that climate activists there have been protesting for a long time. This ban is a baby step in the right direction for France, but they plan to add more routes to the ban in 2026 when the ban is reviewed. The US sadly has gone in a different direction. Donald Trump, during his presidency, made a tax cut which allowed businesses to deduct the price of private jets off their taxes. This is a good incentive for a lot of large businesses to travel privately. Chuck Collins, the director of the IPS, suggests that there be a tax on the sale of private jets and on private jet flights. This would be beneficial to everybody. He suggests that there be a 10% tax on the sale of used aircrafts and a 5% tax on the sale of new aircrafts. This tax would raise the US $2.6 billion last year alone. Private jet travel is only a mode of transportation for the social elite. The amount of carbon it releases into the air is detrimental to the environment. It is an unfair way to travel for those, and it does not give the majority of the population a say in how much carbon is going into the air. This topic has been growing since social media and news outlets have been calling out celebrities on their private travel. It, however, needs to increase in order for everyone to understand the damage that is being done to the environment. Done.